Man, this is a great morning here in DC, Sunday morning. We're kicking off our advocacy part of the conference where we're getting folks ready to go on the Hill on Tuesday. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trust in the Process page. I'm Gil Garrett, your host. Thank you again for sharing, and subscribing to the YouTube page. We are live here in Washington, D.C., and we had some conversation yesterday, and I wanted to share it with my folks back at home and other board members and municipal workers across the country. Listen, thank you for tuning in. Again, liking, sharing, subscribing to the Trust in the Process YouTube page. I'm super excited about what's going on, just about the impact and all the comments and the things that you've been leaving to kind of help grow this page. You know what I'm saying? I cannot do this without you. I cannot be in this position without you. I am not in this position without you. No one gets to a certain place by themselves. And so I just wanted to acknowledge all the supporters of Trust in the Process, all the supporters of Pontiac Proud. Thank you so much again. I won't keep you long. We're here about 10, 15 minutes. It's Sunday morning here in DC. And again, it starts our equity and advocacy weekend as we're preparing board members and city leaders across the country to meet their congressional folks, to have conversations about what's going on in their respective communities. And so the National School Board Association, which I sit as one of the board of directors, and I chair the Equity Council, Council of Urban Boards of Education, which is a 56-year-old equity council up under the National School Board Association. We cover about 47 states and roughly about 20 million students across the country. And Pontiac, Michigan is geared and set me up to be here and bring Pontiac to the rest of the world. But then also bring those things, solutions that we're coming to find out that need to happen, bring them back to Pontiac and bring them home. And so to work with our local leaders and grassroots leaders and advocates in this space to make sure that we are prepared for what's happening and coming down the pipe. I am shocked. I can't really say that. I can't really say I'm shocked about some of the things I've heard in the past couple of days since we've been here. And I want to share them with you. And I want to put some facts and some data out there because I want people to clearly understand that every time one of these members of this new administration say something or do something, it really isn't about, they're not considering themselves, because they've already reached a plateau where they don't have to worry about certain decisions that they're making because they have the necessary finances or resources to kind of overlook or get through some of the decisions that they putting on the rest of the Americans. But I want to be perfectly clear on something, that even though we may look at something, sometimes when another person, and I'm just going to speak plain language because that's just me, when there's a white person delivering a message, a lot of times we think a lot of folks say, oh, this is directly towards the colored community. This is going to directly affect people of color. This is going to, make sure that this is going to affect them the worst, right? Because we polarize that so much of some of the things that's happening in the communities that we polarize that, we blow it up, and we're just like, okay, this is only going to affect black kids, black and brown kids. Well, in this recent, and I'm gonna jump right into it because I don't want to keep you long, and because there's some tips and some encouraging things I want to give you in the end. But this just recently was stated by one of the Congress folks here who made this statement. It was Republican Rich McCormick defended the impacts of the White House federal aid freeze on school lunch programs by suggesting that some children should be working instead of receiving free lunch. During an interview on CNN, McCormick praised the moves as a way to broadly reevaluate how the government allocates funding. You're telling me that kids who stay at home instead of going to work at Burger King, McDonald's during the summer should stay at home and get their free lunch instead of going to work? I think we need to have a top-down review. McCormick said that the pause on federal funds gives government a chance to see where is the money really being spent. And here's my what's so shocking to that statement to me is the fact that he honestly believes that it is just a certain demographic of that kids should really be working at McDonald's. Like, how are you working at McDonald's and going to school? Free and reduced lunch is given during school time. If kids are having to go to summer school, so you telling me cutting summer school to cut summer school food, because the kids in school, you provide food for them during regular school day. You're saying that because it's summer school, they should be working to get their lunches, but it's still not being summer school. Like, I'm confused about his whole thought process, because free and reduced lunch, some of this lunch is the only food that's provided to some of our students. But when you sit in these various positions and you sit and you get to make these particular decisions, and now I clearly understand what my grandfather said, that when you are not at the table, you're on the menu. This is a perfect example. Oh, we need to take a top-down approach. Man, do you know how long free and reduced lunch programs has been going on in this country? And it's not, again, when I made the statements earlier, it's not about affecting, it's not going to affect you because you've already established, or people like you, because you've already established a certain mode of operation to make sure that it doesn't. But kids should work at McDonald's instead of getting free and reduced lunch. Oh, okay. Well, who does this really affect? According to a Pew report, the study that was done in 2020, white Americans get affected when federal aid is cut. When SNAP is cut, food stamps, things of that nature is cut, 62%. Native born in America, 87%. So all this talk about immigration and money going to immigration here and there and there, the decisions that they are making is affecting our own. And that's the problem that I have, is that you place these sound bites, or you have the arguments of the fact that we're trying to clean up, we're trying to figure out where the money is going, X, Y, and Z, but you're hurting us. You're hurting the people who depend on these SNAP programs, right? Which the SNAP programs here have been growing. Like, since this report came out, since this Pew report came out in 2020, we get to 2023, I think we jumped maybe 20%. Average monthly number of people receiving food stamps in a fiscal year. If we go look at 1998, where they at, and then we go to 2023, for people, 42%, households, 22%. You see the jump from 22 to 40. Like, do you understand that if you reading the data and you watching what's going on and the moves that you're deciding to make, when you start talking about who it's going to affect? Now, even though it affects all of us, truly, folks who would like to say that it's color folk, it's black and brown people who are mainly affected. Yeah, we are affected. But our Caucasian white brothers and sisters and cousins are affected too. And that's the majority in this country that receives the SNAP program. This is the data, this is the look at. And as a believer, like, I just can't just randomly just say, just thinking about, I am unapologetically, I can't get it out. I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated with these type of decisions and the things. I'm unapologetically going to be black. I'm black. I don't know. I'm not about to apologize for that. I love being a black man, but I'm a believer. I'm a believer. And in that, God has called me to protect all. So when you making decisions and you making these sweeping moments to get some grand title or grandstand or some type of, I don't know, more checking the box for more points, you should figure out who you affected. You should wonder who you affected, because these kids, they didn't choose to be here. They were here. And so when you start affecting children, you got to come up with a better way. And so that was one of the, when you freeze federal aid, and it was the SNAP program, and they were talking about doing it. And at this point, I think it was, judge fought against it, but they're going to push some kind of way to kind of push past it. We got to be prepared. We have to be prepared in our respective communities that if this to take place and you're living in a space where there is a food desert, you don't have a grocery store, right? You don't have, a main chain grocery store to get the freshes of the fruit and produces and things of that nature. What do we do? And so I know in Pontiac, Michigan, we've dealt with urban farming. That's been a huge success in our particular area. We do have individuals who, pass out food every week. QTMC, that group, they pass out food every week. Mr. Coleman and his family. Pontiac is a food desert. And so we have to be prepared when or if they're deciding to say, you know what, we're not providing no more lunch for schools. So what does that look like? So this is why, one of the reasons why I'm here, many reasons why I'm here. But we need to start having these conversations right now and start thinking about holistically how we're going to move and how we're going to provide. Just like we got caught off guard because we didn't have accurate leadership during the pandemic. We didn't have leadership during the pandemic when the pandemic first hit in Pontiac, Michigan. And we had to get together. Those of us who on the grassroots had to get together and come up with a system to how do we feed the people? How do we provide a lot of the supplies that's coming down from the federal government to making sure that we're getting what we're supposed to, hand sanitizer, masks, things of that nature. We need to stay at home. How do we take care of our seniors? That didn't come from the municipality, the local, the mayor and that administration that was in time. They completely ignored it. And we know what that was about at this point. But again, we have to be prepared, and that's what this is all about. It's about preparing ourselves. So again, when we're making decisions, we got to make decisions that's data driven. Look at the data, and then look at other solutions to add to it to say, okay, how are we going to move in a different direction? That's the point. That's the point that I'm getting at here. And we're going to survive this like we survive everything else. That's no doubt in my mind. My faith tells me that, and my experiences of what God has proven to have done in our lives, period, has proven the fact that we're going to get through it. But, these are some of the things that's happening, and this is some of the, reasons why I'm here to figure out how are other municipalities, how are other school districts working together, handling this solution in their respective states. Because you gotta make sure that we're all working together to do what needs to be done on the best of our children, period. And so with that being said, listen, and I make no mistake about it. Listen, I love the cornflakes. I put the raisins in my cornflakes, and I love the peanut butter because my grandmother made peanut butter cookies. I grew up on this assistance, right? I didn't know this was like government, federal assistance. I just thought this is what it was until I got older to see. But I wouldn't have gotten by, my family wouldn't have gotten by if we didn't have this assistance. So I'm hoping that they come with a better solution to what, for what they're trying to do, if that makes sense. listen, as you're getting started throughout your day, I want to leave you with this. One or two things. I love that moment when in conversations make you realize neither of you were wrong. You just saw things from different perspectives. That's what real communication is about. Understanding, not being right. I've learned that a lot of times it's not always about being right when you're having a conversation that's talking about the humanity and livelihood of people. It's not about being right as it is understanding the perspectives and how do we move closer to the goal that we're saying that was set. Now, there are a right way and a wrong way to do things, and I'm not saying you completely just ignore it, but what I am saying is that you have to respect the fact that somebody may have a different opinion than you, and that's okay. But as long as you're not compromising the integrity and the principle of what we're discussing, then I see nothing wrong with sitting there listening to find a better perspective to get to the goal that's set. Because if we can agree on the goal and we can agree on this is the best way to do this, how we get to that, yeah, we can work that out. We can plan that out without being disrespectful, without compromising again the integrity of the conversation or while we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Let me get to this next one. I live by 3 simple rules. Love needs action, trust needs proof, sorry needs change. And we can no longer put ourselves in position where we're not changing. That the love that we're saying that we have to people do not come with action. That the trust that we're saying that, hey, trust me, that you don't have to provide proof. There should be a way someone can look at you, right and wrong, and find proof of the change that you say that's been made. There should be some type of proof that when you say you love someone, that there's some action that goes along with that. There should be some type of proof that when you say I'm sorry or you apologize because that wasn't my intent, then there should be some type of change. And so I've, learned to live by those 3 things, and it's helped carry me to the place where I am and where I'm choosing to be. So again, we're about 15 minutes over. Most folks it's about 8:30 back at home. I know you guys are getting ready for church, probably getting ready for church at this point, and that's cool. Thank you. Say a prayer for me, say a prayer for my family as we continue and those who are traveling here to DC. Thank you again. Tuning in tomorrow. Tomorrow we make our way back to the Hill to have some meetings. We have it all scheduled out, and also on Tuesday, Michigan specifically meets with their senators, and I'm meeting with Haley Stevens. So appreciate you. Thank you. God bless. Man, I'm very excited about what's happening. Just the coming together in the community part. Yes, this is a stressful time. Yes, this is a time where a lot of people are feeling scared. But to be a hero is not just when things are going bad, to be the superheroes. It's not just when things are going good. It is when you're finding challenging times, this is when the people are supposed to show up. These moments are the ones that make and break us. These moments are the ones that, allow us to, internally look at who we are. I love showing up for these moments. I love showing up for the big points in the games and moving us in a direction to where we need to be. Because this is the part where protecting and serving comes into play. This is the part where serving the community, you start to look at that and what does that look like? So we're all better together. We're all in this. I thank y'all so much. It's Pontiac Proud, Trust in the Process, Gil Garrett. And again, thank you, live from DC. and I will see you tomorrow.